Hello, welcome to part 2. My name is Chloe. If you haven't watched part 1, please do so. Although, I guess you don't technically need to. It just, would make me feel nice. Anyways, started off strong today by breaking my tripod somehow. One of them. Luckily I have another one. Screw's just completely gone. That's cool. Hopefully not a bad omen for how this video is gonna go. But yeah, this is my dog painting, still yet to be named, and this is part 2 of me trying to paint it and seeing how it goes. This one twice as long as the other one, so hopefully gonna cut it down a little bit, but yeah, we'll see how well that goes. It was a lot of going over the same parts over and over again just to get it exactly right, and also giving up and just letting it be how it turned out. But you'll see. I think I am happy with how it ended up, and in part 3 we are going to move on to the actual dog of the painting, which is very exciting / nerve-wracking. I usually put saran wrap over my palette if I know that I'm going to return to it the next painting session. It's hit or miss whether that actually works or not. Usually part of the paint has like a skin on it and you can just peel this, like dig underneath it to get wet paint, and then it's fine. Yeah, and the colors that I so carefully mixed are still usable, which is nice. Starting off strong with the nails here, they gave me a run for my money, and yeah, it was pretty difficult. When I say I'm going back over parts over and over again and then just deciding to leave it, this is what I'm talking about. Starting off not strong, I didn't pick the right color. It turns out nails are very hard to paint. This is my first time ever painting fingernails, I will say. Especially since I wanted a lot of them to be shaded. It was extremely difficult getting those correct colors. And then here I'm just really getting all of my dark areas covered before I move on to the more important, bigger sections. Really, I guess sort of trying to push that contrast so you can really see where the shadows are, and I think it's more eye-catching that way. Same thing here on the thumb. I wanted that part to be pretty dark. It is going to be sort of, when I paint the dog, it's part of it is going to be under the lip there. So I wanted to make sure I got that dark color just right. Here I am mixing another dark color for the nails again to try and just get the perfect match there. I am putting my real thumb up against the painted thumb just to sort of get a better idea of what color I want, because the reference picture, the lighting in it is very even because it's for like a vet or like a medical, so like for doggy dental, Yeah, so the shade contrast is not there, and also like how your nail gets whiter when you push on something. I wanted to show that, so I was pushing on the canvas with my thumb as a reference. This finger is like the trickiest, and right here I'm zooming in to show you that I just completely messed it up by changing the angle, and I didn't mean to, and I'm sorry, but yeah, I don't know what was going through my head when I added that chunk of paint on the side there. Also, my fat head kept getting in the way, so I had to cut a lot of that process out. But you can see it just looks completely different, and I don't know why I did that, but it's okay. It's not okay. But I'm choosing to let it be fine. It's fine. Again, I was just like so dialed into the painting that my head kept getting in the way of the camera, and it's very annoying in the editing process to be like, oh, can't use this really good shot because my head was in the way. I think this finger I'm working on right now is the one I'm most proud of. I guess it had the easiest angle and lighting, so that helped me a lot. Whereas the finger directly above it is the problem child, and I went over it a bunch of times trying to get it right. And you see me going in here with like a almost black to just help me get that line right. It's still not quite where it was before when I, you know, based off of the pencil drawing that I did, but it's okay. I end up fixing the nail later, I'm pretty sure, and it looks better than it does now, trust. This is what these videos are for, I guess. Just showing you my process, and that making mistakes is part of the painting. Alright, now this part I'm really excited about because it's where the star of the show, the hand, really gets exactly where I want it to be, and I'm not going to touch it for the rest of the painting because I think it turned out exactly how it should be. Maybe I'll add like little details, some highlights, but I'm going to try to refrain because I do think that I did a good job on it. Literally, this is my third time painting over the skin tone with the correct color that I wanted. I think it was super yellow the first time, and then yellow, still slightly too yellow the second time I painted it, but just definitely way better than the first time. And now this third time is the charm, where I actually got it to exactly the color that I was looking for. And it works a lot better with the dark brown that I chose to do with the shading, because if it was too yellow, then I would have to do more of like a yellowish brown for the darks, and that just, it's hard to shade like that, I guess. Doing some blending work down here. A lot of times when blending, I don't even have paint on the brush, sort of starting with the dark color with the paint and then wiping my brush off so it's basically clean, and then using that to just blend it with the still wet paint. That's what I like about oil, because it doesn't dry wet right away, so you have all of that working time to blend and adjust things. I don't remember how much longer I spent in the chair this time than the first time, because the first video was only 10 minutes long, cut down, and this one cut down is 20, so, you know, technically it would be double the time, but maybe I just had more to cut out the first go. Definitely spent a shorter time painting, but I don't know, like, what the time difference was, if it was like a full hour or whatever. I'm really not sure. I just think that's interesting how, like, the first time painting you go in kind of timidly, so you can only make so much progress even though it takes you a while, and then the second time you're like, okay, now I'm more comfortable with what I'm doing, so a task that took you 20 minutes now takes you only 10 or even 5 minutes. I will say I got better at mixing the skin tones this time around, and I was more confident with the process of things. See how, like, technically you're supposed to go in from dark to light, but I thought it would be better to do like the mid-tones and then bulk up the darks and do the shadows and then finally do the lights, because I feel like when I do the darks first and then I go in with the mids, it sort of covers up the darks and I don't get the perfect, like, shading and, like, the perfect blending that I want, so I end up doing mids and then darks, and I think that's okay, because as long as it turns out how I want it to, it doesn't really matter how I got there, right? I started with very harsh lines for the bends of the finger, all of the folds and stuff, but then going in with the lighter color and sort of just blending it in, and then going back in where I think I do want those harsher lines. In the end, it doesn't really matter, as long as you can tell that it's a finger. I really think that I spent the most amount of time on this guy. I'm making, like, more of a harsher line on the top to show you that I'm having this bend. Yep, I accidentally smudged it. So that's basically the point where I was like, okay, never mind. I'm not gonna work on this finger anymore because obviously I spent too much time on it. So I left it like that, and it's gonna stay like that unless I decide to fix it. It still looks like that. You see, I don't touch it for the rest of the video. but it's okay. That was pretty disappointing though, because I thought I was getting it to a good point and then just said no. Oh well. I didn't get that much feedback on my first video, on the part 1 to this, where I guess I was asking if this format is good. I feel like I told myself that I would never do a format like this because it's not the type of content that I like to watch, so it's not something I feel immediately like drawn to and something that I really want to do. But have been having a surprisingly nice time making these videos. It's easy for me to do the painting and just throw on the camera into time-lapse mode, sort of like set it and forget it, you know, that way I'm not focused really on the specific shots. And then just having this commentary is a good way for me to look back and see what I did and be like, why did I make that choice? Or maybe be pleasantly surprised at myself for doing something in the moment. But yeah, I want to see what you guys think. What's your perspective as someone who is just, you know, only watching these videos? What do you think? Like, is it like informative or entertaining? I feel like it's hard for me to remove myself from the creator of my videos sometimes, so I'm not sure what your experience is as the viewer, and that would be really interesting insight for me. And if you have any suggestions, that would be great. I'm now doing the background again. I had to let it dry from the first time because it ended up being streaky. And I just put that red line there to show myself where the end of the finger was and where the background starts. Because of the streakiness, it gave me the idea to sort of do a trace around, and I end up adding some red in a little bit, and I think it shows up a little bit like more than I wanted to, because I forgot that it blends together. You see here, I was more envisioning it being like a very subtle line and less of an orange blob, but that's okay. I do go over it another time, like multiple times throughout this video, and then I'm gonna be going over it again after I paint the actual dog mouth, and just keep going over and over. When I finished painting it in real life, I was like, wow, this looks great. And then seeing it in post on this video, I'm like, there's some parts that, like, why did I do the lines in that way? So I am going to fix it. And I don't know why I didn't realize in person, but I guess that's another pro of me making this video, is showing myself my own mistakes. Because while painting, it's very easy for me to just like get so in the zone and I forget like completely what even is happening. Or I guess like tunnel vision. But here I slowed down. I just went normal speed on the content so you could see how the brush was making those lines with just the excess paint pooling on the edges. Yeah. See, I'm like, why did I carry that line all the way there? It should have gone around the tongue instead. There was just a lot of lost in the sauce choices that I made here, and that's why I have to go over it again. This was pretty satisfying to do though. Like, see there, whatever. I guess I was like, oh, I just do one line around the tongue, but I think it should be, you know, all the way around and then all the way around, all the way around, and just like keep going instead of having that weird line. Like, you see what I mean? On the top of the tongue, it's sort of like it just goes around the tongue, but then the rest of it is like as if it's just around the nose, and that's not what I was going for. I don't know why I did that. I'm just showing you the texture here. I thought it was pretty cool. And that's where I left off. I'm really happy with how it turned out, and looking forward to continue painting this later. I guess that's it for right now. Thank you for watching. Leave your thoughts in the comments below, please. I would really appreciate it. And yeah, I'll see you next week.